So good evening, Inspire Beauty. Thank you so much for jumping on. I'm going to start with a couple quick announcements tonight, just because they were on the national wake-up call this morning, and I wanted to make sure that I got them out to you guys too. So starting in June, guys, they're going to do a Shakeology and Portion Fix Only challenge pack. And basically what that's for is anybody who you've gotten to sign up with just Beachbody on demand, right? That's all they have. And you want them to get plugged in with Shakeology, but you know, you want to get them those Portion Fix containers too. They have a challenge pack now for that. And it's it'll be $130 when it comes out. They did not give an exact date on it, but we'll have that information with it. It's $130, and you get 2 Success Club points and $38 commission. So there's that coming out. June 1st, as of June 1st, Beachbody On Demand won't have a bunch of different levels. Like, you know how I can just sign up for Beachbody On Demand and not have the all access. They're not gonna do that anymore because a lot of people were confused with that and they thought they were signing up to get all access and then it turns out they didn't. And so they didn't want the customers to be confused. So from June 1st onward, anybody who has Beachbody On Demand has all access. So that's exciting. You can let your customers know that maybe if they only got the quarterly Beachbody On Demand when they started or started with that free one. And one question that was posed this morning on the National Wake Up Call that I really want to ask to you guys and just let you think through it is one of the things that they find is a lot of coaches ask themselves, am I really good enough to be a coach? And I don't need you to answer that question, and I'm not trying to get an answer from that question right now, but I want you to think about that question and think about who gave you the right, quote unquote, to be a coach. You know, you're going to get to hear from so many different people this year as I'm trying to bring more people onto our team calls. But tonight you're going to hear from Breanna, and I don't know, Brianna's going to give us so much insight tonight, and I'll give you a little backstory on her in a second, but I'm pretty sure that nobody deemed her coach worthy when she signed up. And same thing with me. There's nobody that magically, it wasn't a course I took and then all of a sudden I could be a coach. There wasn't, something I had to sign on a dotted line and get to this criteria so that I could be a coach. There was nothing like that. I got to be a coach, and I'm good enough to be a coach because I say so. I wake up in the morning and I say, yeah, I am good enough to coach people. And so I challenge you guys to ask yourself that question, kind of gut check yourself, because that belief in yourself is what is really going to take you far this summer. I'm going to introduce, though, our special guest. I'm going to stop talking. Our guest tonight is Breanna Smith. She is a diamond coach. She's been coaching for 2.5 years. I'm looking down at my notes so I make sure I don't get it wrong. She is a wife. She is a physician's assistant in interventional radiology, which she just taught me briefly about. And she has 2 super sweet little boys. We actually know each other because we went to college together. And I had to have her refresh my memory because I'm terrible, with my memory, but I knew that we were not in the College of Education together. I knew that couldn't have been true. So I said, how did we know each other in college? Turns out she reminded me that we worked in telecommunications together. And if you can imagine, Breanna and myself, this is back, guys, before anything fancy existed. And in a little notebook, we would write down when they would call us, and the professor wanted a television for their class, or maybe they wanted a data projector for their class. And so we'd write down, okay, their class is from 4 to 6 p.m. in a little notebook. And at 3:45, we'd wheel a television cart to the classroom at Western Michigan University and drop it off. And we were so geeky. Here's the thing, guys. I had no idea. I'm pretty sure she can agree. I had no idea how to work any of the equipment. So then they'd call us if it broke down. It was I was just faking it till I made it. But you know what's funny about that job, and probably why I'm connected to Breanna, is that at that job is when I first signed up for Facebook. When I first found out, wow, what's this thing called Facebook? And so I got my very first Facebook account while I was supposed to be working there. And instead I was playing on Facebook. Shocker. And I'm certain that at some point, Breanna was also there, and we became friends on Facebook because back when Facebook started, it was collegiate based. It was based out of the college you went to. And so I'm actually really thankful for that turn of events because I get to watch her from afar now. She is a rocking coach. She shows up. She's always posting and inspiring. And I just had to reach out to her and see if she could share tonight, get our team a little bit fired up, maybe give us some nuggets that would help us push our business forward. So, Breanna, I'm going to let you take it away, my friend.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. So yeah, that's really funny because literally, if you guys can picture this, there would be data projectors and TVs, like old school big TVs, and we're not talking flat screens, and we would push them through the halls in the middle of in between classes. And I remember running into so many people, and then they would call you. You'd go in front of a lecture of 200 people, and you just start like plugging and unplugging things because we really had no technology, and most of the time you could get it to work, but it was funny. That just brought up some old memories. But anyway, yes, I am. Thank you for the nice introduction. I'm excited to the call. And I don't know how many of you on the call how many of you are moms or work full-time or both? If you want to raise your hands. Yeah, no, yeah. So what I want to talk about today is basically kind of the steps to go through I don't want to call it time management because time management, I don't think I have good time management. I will be 100% honest with you. But what I do think I have is the ability to be the most effective and efficient with my time that I can be. And so what I'm going to do is share with you what I try to do. And so a while back, I don't know if any of you listen to Tony Robbins. He is a motivational speaker for kind of entrepreneurs, and he's not a Beachbody coach. He's not related to Beachbody coaching, but if you have a chance to listen to anything he has to say, he has great information. And what he says, you can always bring back to your own business and take it home. And something that he had said a while back that I heard was, people like people who are like you or who are like who you want to be, right? And so people that are like you can't control that. You are who you are. So who am I? I'm a mom. I have young kids. I work full time. I'm a physician assistant. I work in the healthcare field. Those are things about me that I can't change. And there's going to be commonality that people are going to feel connected with me just from those things. But what you do have the ability to change, and that's a whole different topic, right? That's a whole different topic, talking to your niche, talking to your people, reaching out to those who are like you, that we can go on for, days. But what I'm going to talk about today is finding people who want to be like you, and that's what we have control over. And so if you think about the person you want to be, what do you want to be? Most people, I think, would say they want to be happier, right? They want to be healthier. They want to be more positive. They want to be more confident. And those are all things that you have the ability to change. And so how do you do that? Post about them, right? Social media posts. So vital behaviors, right? You want to be a product of the product, but it's not just being a product of the product. You can't just drink your shake and you can't just post that you're working out. It's not going to cut it. You can do that over and over. And to be honest with you, if you have all the time in the world as a coach, I truly believe that you can post your workouts, post that you're drinking your shake, leave it at that, but then make up for it with having several conversations on the side. And if you're doing that, you're reaching everyone you need to be. You're reaching social media, you're showing people what you're doing, but you're also having several conversations. Or you can show them that you're being a product of the product and post transformations. And transformations, this is what I tell my team, are key. And I apologize because I really wanted to put a slideshow together of posts that I've done with transformations, and time got in my way and I wasn't able to do that. But what you need to do is you need to be having a transformation. Be a product of the product by having a transformation. So what I do is I make it like a game, okay? I will say, okay, for the next 2 months, I'm going to try to get some rocking summer arms. And then I pick a program like hammer and chisel, and I focus on my arms more than anything. And I try to up my protein intake, and I try to do something to get more muscle in my arms. I take a before picture. I make my before picture look really lousy. I mean, it's me, but I don't make it, I make it look somewhat lousy. And then I do everything in my power to get results. and post an after picture. And those are going to gain you more traction, initiate more conversations, initiate more opportunities to send invites than anything else that you can do. And so most recently, what I did, and I know Brittany just recently did Whole30, is my goal was to get abs. My son is actually going to turn 1 next week. And so I'm a 1 year postpartum, and I was like, I want abs. That's what I'm doing. And so I knew what I needed to do is I needed to clean up my diet. And we all know that Beachbody is there for different reasons for different people, right? I get that. I get that everyone doesn't want abs, and that's not what I'm saying. But what I do want you to think about is think about something that you want, some type of transformation. So for me, it was abs, right? Took before pictures, literally avoided all junk food for 30 days, continued doing my Beachbody workouts just like I was doing before. My abs were there before. They were just hiding under a little bit of fat. And then after cleaning up my diet, they popped out, right? And then I had this great transformation. And it wasn't Beachbody per se. Beachbody contributed to it. My challenge groups, which were Beachbody, definitely were what held me accountable. The willpower was something that I had that I wouldn't have had before Beachbody. And so all of that later, when people ask me, how did you do that? And they're interested in Whole30, then you have the opportunity to share all of this stuff with them. Well, I do these groups, you're surrounded by positive people. You're doing all of these things. And that then brings it full circle and back to Beachbody. So you don't have to be all Beachbody all the time. I know some coaches are runners, right? Maybe you're a marathon runner and you're not doing Beachbody workouts. It doesn't, but I can guarantee you Beachbody coaches who run marathons are probably more dedicated. They probably stay on track more often because they have accountability groups, because they have the support, because they have the drive or the motivation, from being around others that are like them. And so that is what I recommend all people doing, is having transformations continuously. And it doesn't have to be a physical transformation. I know Brittany had posted before about doing the yoga and anxiety. It can be a mental transformation. I've had coaches sign up for me, like on my team, because I work with them and they thought I was one of the most positive people they've ever met. I mean, how easy is that? No one wants to be grumpy. No one wants to be mopey. But if you are the person that, not that you think other people want to be, because this isn't about trying to please others, but if you're the person that you want to be, you want to be better in some aspect, you are going to gain followers. You are going to gain traction. You are going to have people who are interested in whatever you're doing, and whether that's your challenge groups, whether that is your being a coach on your team, but you have to be proof. You have to post it on social media. And that's where I think you can reach the most amount of people in the least amount of time. So that's great, right? You're inspiring people. You're motivating people. You have these followers. You have these people liking your posts. And that's great. But if you stop there, that's all you're going to have. You're going to have a lot of people who are motivated by you, who follow you, but they don't know what else to do. So this is the analogy that I use. So my son's birthday is coming up, right? Say your best friend has a son and he's turning 1 next week, and you're having a birthday party. And you have told your friend all about the birthday party, what the theme is going to be, what you bought him for his gift, what date it's going to be, what kind of cake you're making, all of these things, but you never gave them the invite. You never invited them to the party. They probably are going to have conversations with you. They're going to talk about it, but most people aren't going to just invite themselves. Some people will. Some people are bold enough to just say, hey, I'm going to come, I really love you and your son, and I'm going to come to the party, even though you didn't invite me, because I think I deserve to be there. Some people will do that. But a majority of the people won't. They're going to sit back and they're going to talk to you and they're going to have conversations about it, but be waiting for the invite. And so that is the crucial step to make this whole posting, having transformations go full circle, is you have to invite people. I get it. It's awkward, right? I get it. People say no all the time. People tell me no often. You just have to get comfortable being told no. And it's the same thing. Think about your son's birthday party. You have 10 friends you're inviting to your son's birthday party. Say 5 of them can't make it. Maybe one of them is out of town. The other one, they live far away and they can't afford to drive to your house for the weekend. Someone else, people have different reasons for different things and they can't make it. But you don't take it hopefully you don't take it personally. You might take it personally, but hopefully you just say, oh, no big deal. I'll send you pictures or we'll have to catch up another time. It's the same thing with coaching. You just have to think of it like that. Don't make it awkward. Send out the invite, because if you're talking about it or the conversation goes there or they're liking your post and you're not inviting them, you're missing out on opportunity and they're missing out on opportunity. And there's a good chance that they're sitting on the other side thinking, I'd really be interested in this. And I think if she invited me, I would totally do it. But I don't know, she hasn't invited me. And if you don't invite them, someone else will. It's just a matter of time. And so that's the analogy that I use. And so how do you then wrap this up into someone who has a crazy busy life and works full time? I don't want to say it's simple, because doesn't always seem simple, but this is what I do. I am lucky if I have an hour a day to work my business. And sometimes that includes my workouts. I make my workout a non-negotiable. I get my workout in every day. I always have a goal of something that I'm working on with my body that I'm trying to achieve. So say that's 30 to 40 minutes. If I only have 20 minutes left, what I do is I message people who have liked my post from the day before or the day before that, my transformation post, my lifestyle post, whatever I decided to post that day. And I say something like, if it's a really vulnerable, heartfelt post, I say something like this: hey, thank you so much for liking my post. It's so hard to be vulnerable on Facebook, and I really appreciate your support. And maybe you were just liking my post to give me support. And if so, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. But my heart just feels like maybe you would be great at being, in whatever you're posting about, coaching, a challenge group. But my heart really feels like you would be great at joining my challenge group. And so are you interested, or have you ever thought about it? I make it a thank you for liking my post, but an invite at the same time. And sometimes people will say, no, I'm not interested in joining, but thanks, keep up the good work. You're doing a great job. And other times people will say, yeah, tell me more information. And that right there is then the step to connect it further. And so if all you have time to do is reach out to your warm network and the people that are following you and liking your posts, you're going to go places. Those are easy invites to send. The other caveat I have is, if you feel like people aren't liking your posts, then that's difficult. That can be really difficult when you feel like no one's liking your posts. And a bunch of coaches on my team have recently gone through this. And what I told them is, if you've been a coach for a year and you're getting bored with your posts, chances are your followers are getting bored with your posts, and your social media network are getting bored with your posts. And so you need to switch it up. You need to start doing videos. You need to start, you need to switch it up if that's the case. And sometimes, if you're new, it just takes trial and error of who is your market? What's going to bring people to like your posts? Then what can happen after that? You might be getting great traction, but who's liking your posts? Coaches on your team. all of your customers already. You're not getting new people. I'll give you a really quick tip on how are we doing for time? Do we have time still? Okay. A quick tip that I do when I feel like all of a sudden I've kind of maxed out my market and everyone that's liking my posts are current customers or coaches of mine, and I don't have a lot of time, but what I'll do is I'll go through my friend list. I will, on one day, mass message 25 to 50 new people and start new conversations. The next day, I will plan a big transformation post. And you know what's going to happen is Facebook affinity, right? The people that you just talked to are going to be the ones that are more likely to see your post. And when that happens, what you can then do, I can guarantee you, probably 10, if you message 50 people, at least 10 of those new people will like that post. And then what happens? That opens up opportunity to invite more people. So how many of you have conversations with people and then you notice the next day they start liking your stuff? It's not by chance, but you have to strategically plan when you're talking to people and when you're making posts. And if you do that, then you're working smarter and you're not working harder. You're not just spinning wheels, posting, and not getting engagement. You're being thoughtful with a plan, and you can go from there. So I think that is all I really had to talk about. I had written notes. I'm just going to go through them really quick and make sure I didn't miss anything that I wanted to mention.
No worries at all. This is so good. I'm loving while you look. Guys, you want to know a funny story? Breanna actually doesn't know this, and it was one of those things that it clicked when she said that you miss out on opportunities when you don't invite, because if you don't invite somebody, someone else will. Guys, I have to tell you that she was on my list of, like, you know, we talk about your scary dream team list. She was on my list for a long time, and I never reached out to her because I thought, oh, she'll think I'm so stupid. This is back when I first started coaching. Guys, when she finally signed up as a coach and I saw that, do you know how crushed I was? Like, I had already been coaching and I wanted to invite her, but I never did, and somebody else did, and she's rocking it and she's awesome. But there is literally somebody on our call tonight that has happened to me, and it's just, it's all good, right? But like, it's real. That's a real thing. I love that you mentioned that, and it totally just brought that up to me.
Yeah, I know, it's so true. I've had it happen to me too. You know, you have these people, I guess what I had listened to once that someone said was, the people you're most scared to invite to this, the people that are most intimidating to invite, right? We all have those people you're like, I think they'd be great at it, but gosh, I don't know how to invite them, are generally the ones who are going to be the best coaches on your team. But you just have to grow some balls, and invite them. And that's what it comes down to. But yeah, I think I touched base pretty much on everything. What I just wanted to say is, I don't know what level you guys are at. I don't know where you are at your business. I don't know how much time you have to devote. But what I can tell you is, if you keep it at the basics, you will be successful. It's as soon as I start trying to get fancy and fluffy, for me specifically, I don't have time. I don't have time to do a lot of extra stuff. And when I start trying to spend time doing that, that's when I notice that I get a dip in my business, because that's not what's going to move your business forward. It's literally it's talking to people, developing relationships, having transformations, showing up every day and inviting people, obviously personal development. I'm not going to go there. That's a whole nother conversation, but that's what you need to do. And if you do those things and you can consistently do those, you'll be successful. I have no doubt in my mind.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Guys, do you have any questions for her tonight? You can type them in, or you can unmute yourself and ask. And her abs, by the way, are what made me decide that I needed to do Whole30, because I was like, Okay, that woman went from being real pregnant, because she was real pregnant, to that. I was like, that I have no excuse. I have no excuse. So
how did Whole30 go for you? You're done, right?
I'm done tomorrow.
Are you okay?
I'm not technically on Whole30 anymore, but it's been a great month. I'll read
Yeah.
it. But yeah, no, it was eye-opening. I don't think I'll have abs like you though, or I don't think I have. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we all have certain areas of our body we can emphasize, right?
Oh, Mary asked, do you work your business every day of the week or do you have off days?
I am doing something every day, honestly. I mean, I can't say that I commit to a full power hour every day, but I am always following up on messages or following up with people, private messaging my challengers. I'm doing something every day. So I just feel it's like your workouts. I don't know how you guys are with your workouts, but as soon as you have, say, a rest day, but once you take a day off in your workout, you want to take 2 days off. And then you want to take 3 days off, right? Once you lose that momentum, then it's harder to keep going. And so if you just do something, I'm not saying you have to spend Mother's Day. What I did for Mother's Day is in the morning, while I was going to the bathroom, this is way too much information for you all, but I have 2 children that don't leave me alone unless I'm going to the bathroom. My husband watches them. I sent out like 30 Happy Mother's Day messages to my prospects or people that I had been messaging, and that conversations got awkward and kind of ended, and I wanted to just start fresh. And so that's what I did, and so that was my Mother's Day, and that's all that I did that day. And if they messaged me back, I didn't respond to them that day. I responded to them today. So just because you're working your business, if you don't have a lot of time, you can send out messages. Don't feel like you have to be glued to your phone or glued to your computer the entire day by doing that. You can easily send out 20 messages, 10 messages, 5 messages, and then say, okay, I'm done today. And then tomorrow start, respond to those people. And that's, for me, was the hardest thing when I started doing, it was the hardest thing for me to just step away after I send a message and say, okay, I'm done today. Tomorrow's a new day.
I love that. Do you aim your business towards a specific group of people, for example, moms, or do you talk to everyone out there?
I really try to talk to my niche. I think if you're trying to talk to everyone, you're really talking to no one. I think a lot of people think that if they limit who they're talking to, they're going to get less customers. But what I have found is that I actually get more, because the people who are just like me feel very close to me. And so without having to say much, we just bond, and honestly, out of all my coaches, I think 90% of them work in healthcare. So, I mean, it's not by chance. It's because you speak to people who are like you.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Any other questions, guys, that you want to ask or type in? Thanks, Mary, for those questions. Anyone? No? Okay, cool. All right. Well, so Breanna, I make them take a picture with me at the end every time.
Yeah.
They love it. So.
I don't mind my junk. We're redoing my basement. My husband's making shelves. So this is like, someday I'm going to have a nice looking basement office.
Called real life, right?
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Let me get this all set up. All right. Ready? Smile. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Yay. Breanna, thank you so stinking much for being here tonight. I really appreciate it. It just gives us new perspective, new ways of hearing it, and just seeing that there are other people out there who are absolutely 100% busy juggling a million hats and making it happen. So you are inspiring us. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Have a great Monday night. I'll see you later.
Bye.